It's Monday again.
Hi, Carl. Good evening, Carl.
How's everyone doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
I know you are. You're always doing good.
Whatever. Listen to this crap.
Hey, I know what I'm talking about.
Whatever.
Well, Carl, I hope you and Cindy are doing well on this Monday evening. And where did June go? I feel like June has been the weirdest month because it's like, it seems like it's taking forever. But then I'm like, wait a minute. Message from the dark side, eh?
One of these days I'll remember to
Silence of the lambs, not the lambs, the phone.
silence that.
Silence.
But I won't hold my breath on that day.
No. That's probably
So
smart.
what's up?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Just that you don't know?
Hope all you fathers out there had a great Father's Day.
Yes. Happy Father's Day to everyone. A little late, but
Better late than never. Better late than never. Did you have a good Father's Day?
yeah, I did. Yeah.
Did you?
I had a really good Father's Day. Just kind of hung out, and kids made me breakfast, and as usual, she spoiled me with all the shit that I won't buy myself.
I'm really good
So-
at that, by the way. Buying you like stuff.
Yeah. So what's been going on in the spooky world?
Well, not much, I guess. So I felt conflicted because you remember when we moved from the apartment and we brought that glass, it had the dish soap in it, and
Yeah.
you were like, little girl can come in with us here, whatever, if she wanted to. I put it down under the sink and I was like,
Oh,
ooh,
she's not gonna care.
I don't know if this is a good idea.
She's out wandering around in the house now. I mean, we've heard her.
Yeah, guys. Hey, Kenna. Hey, Jason's watching. Jason's our guest tonight, guys. Jason, Mr. Roberts. Man, I haven't talked to him in a minute.
I know, right?
He must be doing good.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, we've heard our little girl that made frequent appearances at the apartment we were in before. We've heard her several times, especially here recently.
yeah.
There was one night, me and little Sophie were sitting at the dinner table, and Stephanie was in the bathroom. In the bathroom or
Yes,
bedroom?
but well, both. No, bedroom. In the bedroom.
Stephanie was in the bedroom, and we were. I was just kind of sitting there hanging out. I don't remember what I was doing actually, but and it was just us three in the house. None of the other kids were home.
Yeah.
So I'm just sitting there hanging out, and I would swear I heard one of the girls, one of the middle school age girls, yell something from. I thought it was coming from downstairs in, where their rooms are. And of course, I couldn't catch what they said, and I almost, just instinctively said, "What?" Like a dad does.
Yeah.
But then I realized, wait a minute, they're not here.
Wait a minute. And the only other kid is with me right now.
Yeah, and Stephanie heard it too.
Yeah, it was really bizarre. And but the weird thing is, yeah, like we would have swore, because it's happened 2 separate times. The first time we were all like Jeremiah, myself, and our 2-year-old were at the dining room table, and we both looked at each other like, did you hear that? What the hell was that? Because it did. I thought, I didn't think other kids. I thought Sophie. Like, I was like, oh, that sounds like Sophie or screaming or something in the basement. And no, it was just the 3 of us. TVs weren't on. There is not a television in the basement, so it couldn't have been anything like that. Well, then I was in the bedroom, and you and Sophie were in the living room, and I heard it like through the vent again. Like there was a kid down there, and I would have swore there was a kid down there, and there was no kid down there.
Yeah.
Jason said that your beard is longer since he has seen you That means it's been a long time because your beard does not grow fast.
I know, right? Yeah, it's been way too long. We gotta. I tell you what. Well, we'll talk about that when we get them on the air here in a little bit. But then there was that night that we were sitting out in the backyard.
Oh yeah,
it was just us three.
But it wasn't a little girl voice this time.
No, that time it was more of an adult voice.
Yeah, it was like a deep. I don't know.
Sounded like it was coming from the garage. None of the neighbors were outside that we know of, and we don't have privacy fences. We just have little 4-foot chain link fences. So.
Those fences are only 4 feet tall? Mm-hmm. God, I'm really not that tall because
you're kind of short.
Jason can probably. He's like the same height as me, isn't he?
Pretty close, I think.
I feel your pain, Jason. I got a new coffee mug. I'm pretty excited about it.
Tell us about it.
It says Abide, which anybody who has ever seen like one of the greatest movies ever, The Big Lebowski, there's the dude. This is my all-time favorite movie. And hey Pamela, Pamela, I'm sorry, I don't have the coffee coffee mug. I'm bad. I'm sorry. I use it like every other time though. But of all places, I found this coffee mug at Walmart.
Right.
Big Lebowski coffee mug. I was like, dang, Walmart, that's awesome. But anyways, I'm spilling coffee everywhere. What's new? I'm so clumsy.
I gotta. Since Jason's watching, and he can kind of see us right now. I gotta show off one of my Father's Day presents.
Oh. It's pretty cool.
Get up here where y'all can see it. Well, get the microphone out of the way.
Oh my God.
Got a Bigfoot sneaking up on some Boy Scouts, and it says, "Eat your dreams."
Yeah. It's like one of those shirts that it's like little kid themed, but it has like a really dark message or whatever. I actually bought quite a few. Well, yeah, I bought quite a few of those style. I just gave the oldest girl, she's over right now teaching art lessons to the other kiddos, and the 2-year-old's participating, by the way. I'm pretty excited about it. And I was like, oh, Sophie's gonna draw. Anyways, I end up giving her one. It's like these 3 or 4 guys in some kind of like I don't know. It's supposed to be like it says worship coffee, the Dark Lord or something, and it's like this giant coffee pot in the middle of like a pentagram, and and then it's got these like people in like cloaks, like hailing this giant
Hello,
coffee.
Darkness, my old friend.
Simon and Garfunkel did it better. Oh.
Whatever.
Okay, actually, I can't stand on that argument anymore because I really. Guys, we've talked about this before, but I'm pretty passionate about that subject because I finally realized that you were right. You're usually right. It just sometimes takes me a long time to come around to see that point because, yeah.
I'm really not that right as often. I'm not right as often as she wants, at least as often as she tries to lead me to believe that I am.
Whatever. See, Pamela said the dude is way cooler. Actually, Pamela, like, I really can't agree with that because your coffee mug and, like, your guys' symbol for your shop is, or not even your shop, but just that symbol with the skull and the moth and everything is... I love it. Like, I would get that tattooed on myself. Just saying. I don't know if you own rights to that image, but I would totally...
There you go, Pam. Walking advertisement.
I would totally get that tattoo. Actually, I'm being serious. I would get that tattoo. I think I just decided what my next tattoo is. You think I'm like joke? Like I'm being serious?
No, I think you're being serious. I know you
Pamela,
well enough.
well,
I know you well enough.
If you do own rights to that image, I hope you're okay with me stealing it to get a tattoo because it's awesome. It is. But the movie The Big Lebowski is I love that movie so much. I hope everybody has seen it. It's such a great movie. But anyways, speaking of shirts, I have Rob Zombie on my shirt today.
Yeah.
And do you know who introduced me to Rob Zombie? My mother, of all people. like back when the song Living Dead Girl came out.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, she listened to T95 and she was like, I think you would like this. And I'm like, what? This is actually really good. And then I wore this shirt, like I had to go by their house, my parents' house or something. And I wore my Rob Zombie t-shirt and I was like, Mom, notice my shirt. And she was like, oh, Stephanie, some things never change. You and your band t-shirts. Who doesn't like Rob Zombie? Well, I mean, I'm sure there's some people that don't like Rob Zombie, and there's some people that can't stand his movies. I
don't like his movies.
You know, my dad, he took a friend and I to go see House of a Thousand Corpses, okay? And he sat like in the back, and my friend and I sat like, you know, like closer to the front or whatever. Mm-hmm. And we walk out of the theater, because it was one of those like only so many theaters in America were like playing it, you know? Well, the Palace in Wichita, which I'm sure that people watching here, or maybe not, there used to be a movie theater in Wichita called the Palace, and it was this pink building. And it was playing at that movie theater, and Dad took...
the equivalent of a dollar show.
Kind of, yeah. It was a cheaper...
It was
like the
movies.
knockoff of the Warren, yeah. Anyways, so... he took us and we sat through it, and afterwards he's just like, I just wasted 2 hours of my life. That was the worst movie I've ever seen.
I can't say I disagree entirely with him on that.
Well, I mean, I liked it. I liked it.
Look, I'm not judging. It's just, you know, I have to have something that's got a story to it.
Do you like his music? Do you like Rob Zombie's
his music? Yeah.
Okay.
You know.
Although some of his movies are like the one about the, what was that one called? It was like about witches or Salem, what was it called? I can't remember, but it was a little out there. Or like the movie came out with like 31. That one was okay.
Just that one was a little out there?
Even for me. Like it was Hey, Megan. Megan's watching. You know, Megan, that's one thing that I wanted to talk about was the fact that if I ever had the opportunity to go see Rob Zombie in concert, I would totally want to go. Mm-hmm. I think he would put on one heck of a show.
Yeah.
I think he would put on an amazing show. I couldn't help but wonder if his shows would be like rated, like, you know, like you can't be young or you have to be accompanied by a parent to go, because I can imagine some of the props or people that he would bring out.
Well,
might be
that's the same. I mean, there's a lot of. I mean, Tool.
Have you seen them in concert?
I've not seen them I've seen video of some of their concerts, and yeah, it's not something I would comfortable sending my teenage daughters off to.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Man, I remember when I saw.
I mean, like I said, not judging. It's just not something. It's not a situation I would be comfortable putting my teenage daughter into, or my teenage son, for that matter. You know,
he would probably be in heaven. God, guys, I am not looking forward.
He wouldn't know what to do.
So here, let me be frank with you. Megan said she saw Rob Zombie when he was with Ozzy. But Rob Zombie was better because he has awesome media. Well, I'll tell you, I'd be curious, like, was he able to stand the whole time? Like, anyways. I got sidetracked. Yeah, so let me be very frank about what I'm realizing as a parent here. I don't like teenage girls, and I am really not looking forward to having a teenage son. I thought the toddler...
You are screwed.
I thought the toddler age was bad.
You are screwed.
I thought the toddler age was bad, but apparently, like, the teenage years are going to be, like, god-awful, and you're talking about building a man cave or whatever to get away from all the estrogen in the house, and I'm thinking, like, God help me, I can't handle all these teenage girls.
You've got your mom cave out here. You just don't ever use it.
Is it called a she shed or something like
Whatever,
that?
I don't care. I even came out and ran the air conditioner for you all day yesterday, and you still never came out.
Well, I had other things. Things went awry yesterday, so it wasn't an option, but anyway.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
So you're getting older when you go in a store and you actually have to ask the clerk what something means because you're not sure if what you're going to buy your kid is like appropriate. And I just had this moment where I've looked at the like attendant lady and I'm like, I'm sorry, this is going to sound terrible, but what does this mean? Because I was like, oh my God, I'm sounding old. I don't know what this symbol. And it was for some like K-pop like band or whatever. And K-pop is like some kind of, it's a genre of music. I don't know if it's Chinese, Japanese, dirty knees. No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, come on, that was funny. Anyways, K-pop, it's just some kind of a genre of music, and I don't know what it is, but this band came out with like little animals to represent themselves, and it was like cute little animals on this shirt, and so I got it for Bella, and I'm like, well, I don't know what K-pop is, but whatever. I was like, as long as this isn't like a negative thing. Anyways. Yeah.
Well, shall we get Jason on the phone?
Yeah, I've been waiting on you for
right,
I've been waiting on you for a while. Jason, we're going to call you now. Yes. I feel like it should be the Jeopardy theme when you're calling somebody. Do 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 do.
This is Jason. Leave a message, and I'll get back to you.
Seriously, Jason?
Wow. Kenna said K-pop is Korean, by the way. I'm leaving a message on Jason's phone about Korean. K-pop is Korean. Thank you, Kenna. I did not know that, but apparently it's some like huge craze, and he's gonna make us wait.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Jason.
What's
Stranger?
up?
Long time
I
no.
missed your call. I didn't know to recognize the number. I was like, oh crap, who's this?
No.
God, it's been so long since you guys have seen each other. Damn. We haven't seen you in a while, Jason. How are you?
How's it going, guys?
Going good. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Ooh, that was loud.
We're doing good. How are you doing?
Oh, living the dream. Or should I say living the normal man's life of 8 to 5 and a job that I don't like and don't want to do. So
Yeah, well, that sounds kind of par for the course lately, but
I can't relate. Hey, but you have a toddler, man, right? Like you have a toddler that you have fun with, right?
Hello?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry, turning off the fan here.
Oh, you're good. You can relate to us with the toddler thing because you're doing the toddler thing too at your house, aren't you?
I'm having a hard time hearing Stephanie.
Okay, let me see here.
Sorry.
No,
Oh,
you're fine.
you're
You're
fine.
fine. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
How about now?
How about now? Whoa. I'm going to blow my eardrums. Is that any better?
That's better. I think I heard
Maybe.
you that time.
Maybe. Okay. So I was saying, you can relate to us doing the toddler thing because you yourself have a toddler at your house, correct?
Oh, you're kind of broken up there, Stephanie. I can hear Jeremiah really good.
I'm broken up.
Here.
I'm broken up about having a toddler. We'll get this figured out.
Yeah.
I have faith.
I don't know why you're hearing me and not her. That's weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
How about now?
Is that any better?
Okay, that's a lot better.
Sorry, people.
Okay.
Sometimes we have issues. All the time we have issues.
Well, it's not so much I wasn't able to hear you. It was kind of broken up a little bit.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Here. Take your mic. There you go. Okay.
We're good to go now. So you had a nice Father's Day, Jason? I don't think he can hear me.
Well, let's see here.
Maybe.
Oh, for crying out loud. Why are we having this trouble now?
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's probably because we're talking to Jason.
I know. Every time I'm around.
I swear to God. Yes.
You know?
Is that better? Can you hear me? I feel like I'm driving to Severy, man. It's like cutting in and out.
Here, what we'll do is
We could switch seats. Hold on, Jason. Just a minute.
How about now? Can you hear her now?
Is that any better?
Yeah, I can hear that.
Oh, you can? Yay!
Yeah.
How's that for everyone out in Viewerland? Is that,
Viewerland.
can you guys hear us? Let us know in the comments. So, anyway.
Yeah, I'm really not a fan of toddlers, Jason. I'm really, really quickly I'm becoming not a fan of having a toddler. Not at all. Mm-mm. I don't think he can hear me.
Talking to this.
Talk into this?
Yeah, hers is really broken up. Sorry.
Is that better? Well, how about now? Hello.
No.
Hello. No. Lena's rubbing off on him because we're having technical issues when he's calling in.
Yeah, you're really broken up. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I'm sorry. This is something we should have had.
Kenneth says Pamela says sounds great. Kenneth says yes. I'm assuming yes means that yes, they can hear me.
Okay, so it's just.
You might have to do all the talking tonight, honey.
How about now? Is that better, Jason?
Is that any better, Jason?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. All right, let's try that.
There. Do. Are we good? Are we good to go?
Yeah, let's try it.
Are we good to go, Jason? Can you hear me?
Oh yeah. So what do you got for me tonight?
Oh my God. Okay, so I want to know. First off, for everybody watching, will you please tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do paranormal related?
What do I do? Oh, very little.
As little as possible. No, I'm just kidding. You're amazing. Don't sell yourself short, even though you are short like me.
I already am short, you know.
I know. I can relate. You're the same height as me.
Okay, so what I do, my name is Jason Roberts. I am member of Everyday Legacy Paranormal, thanks to Jeremiah. And you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And back in 2013, Jeremiah and Brandon Callahan handed over Road Trip Paranormal to me, so I've been doing that ever since. And this year we were I still work side by side with Everyday Legacy Paranormal with Leo, and we are it's been a crazy ride, busier than shit all the time, and we are this year we had a whole lot planned, and we were going to have a very fun year until the world just got stupid. So
yep, we can relate to you on that one.
So we've had to cancel I don't know how much stuff with all the events that we had planned. We had back-to-back events set up in different cities and festivals and everything that we were planning on doing, but then and then with the Paracon, we were I was helping with the sponsoring of the Paracon, plus I was sponsoring Road Trip Paranormal was sponsoring Mr. Haglin from the X-Files.
Oh my God.
And all that just fell through, and we had to cancel.
Yeah, doggone it.
I was so looking forward to all that. There's so many people that were coming to the Paracon and everything, but it's just crap.
Yeah, I mean that's something that
we took off for work to go to it, Jason. We took off, and you of all people have to realize how ecstatic I was when I saw who the guest was going to be. And
oh my God, yeah, yeah. When Jason K told me, he called me, or he didn't call me, he messaged me while I was at work, and he said, "Hey, do you want to sponsor one of the guest speakers? And I thought, okay, well, it kind of depends on who it is,
Right.
You know, and because all I started thinking in my head was like money, dollar signs, like how much is this going to cost me?
Right.
But he said, hey, well, he's one of the actors from the X-Files. He's the one of the lone gunmen. And I was like, oh hell yes, that wasn't even a question, So I was excited about that, but oh well.
Damn it, man.
He was gonna do because he's got also a stand-up comedian too. So he was gonna do his whole routine at the Bearcon and everything. So it would have been fantastic. Because he's also got other shows and TV stuff that he's doing stuff too. So
oh man.
Yeah. Hopefully next year it can come back together and it'll work for us all and everything. So
yeah, that's just
to think something that we can't even see with the naked eye, something that's that tiny can just wreak havoc on everything. We can't even freaking see it, for crying out loud. But
I know
it's there.
But hey, we talk about this kind of stuff happening in movies and books all the time, and then everyone has a hard time believing it when it actually happens.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just Hollywood. This crap can actually happen in life. So
maybe we manifested it. Maybe
something.
Maybe the human race manifested it. Sensationalizing.
When you write about it,
mm-hmm.
When you write about it enough times, and
what's that? What's that creature called?
What creature?
It's for crying out loud.
The djinn?
It's a creature that manifests from thoughts and intentions. It's a
golem?
No, it's not a golem.
It's not a djinn. I'm trying to think of all these other paranormal words that I might know. Bigfoot?
I'll think of it in a minute, maybe. But anyway, yeah, it's been a mess this year. It really has.
Well, Jason, that's like all of our fairs have been basically canceled too.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the ones that are still going to be happening, Jeremiah and I are not going to be able to attend.
Yeah, it's just we can't risk having to, quarantine.
With work.
Right.
Yep.
So.
Well, you can probably relate to that with your job as well, with the quarantining stuff.
So the KC Metaphysical is still a go.
Yes.
So how's that? How's that possible? And everything else is closing down.
What was that?
Weird.
He asked how the KC Meta at the end of July is still a go. I think it's because they got a bigger place and it
Tulpa.
can allow.
That's the one I'm thinking of. Thank you, Pam. A Tulpa.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Gremlin. So he wondered how KC Meta is still possible.
My understanding is that they have. If I understand it right, they got a bigger place and then reduced their vendor load so that they could accommodate for social distancing.
Gotcha. Okay.
But other than that, I don't know. I don't know all the details, but because we got invited to it, but like I said, it's just not an option for us this year because we can't risk having to do the 14-day self quarantine. We don't have that much vacation time.
Yeah, I understand that.
So, but what else is going on with you?
Ooh, I have a question, Jason.
Yes.
What have you ever? Because Jeremiah over here really has never had anything outright scare the shit out of him, other than when you guys were in Tahlequah with the thing that sounded like the gorilla. Okay. But what about you? Have you had a moment in doing paranormal investigations that you were just like, it scared the shit out of you? Like, holy fuck, what was that? Like, have you ever had that, like, that type of a moment?
Kind of moment that really freaked me out. Let's see. I don't know. It was, I always say that it was, that the, the house that Jeremiah never got to go to. It was actually at a house that had a murder in it.
Ooh.
And it was, I went downstairs to put a recorder down there and everything, because the investigation before that, I was kind of calling out the person that died in the house, because they, the person that died was actually selling drugs at the time too, and was mixing the drugs wrong, and people were having bad reactions to it. So, it was about to be this moment where it was going to come back on that person eventually. Well, and she was murdered in her house, attacked in the kitchen, dragged down to the basement, and left there to die. She was found 3 days later. But the first time I was there, I was kind of brand new with it, and I didn't know what to say or anything like that. So I was just sitting there and you can still see the blood stain on the floor in the concrete. And as Jeremiah even said, he's like, that's the protein in the blood that keeps coming back up.
Right.
Because I remember, talking to you about this case too a long time ago, back when we were doing it. And that night I remember sitting there, and I was told, Jason, you can speak up every once in a while, because I was just sitting in silence, because I was like having like a Dateline moment, where it was like I'm seeing the murder happen in my in my head, and I feel like I was in one of those murder mystery Dateline shows.
Right.
So I'm in an actual house where it was, there was a murder only like maybe 3 years prior to us being in there. So I'm sitting there, and I was told, ask some questions, Jason. Just ask some questions. So I kind of called out the person that was murdered, because I was like, well, I understand you were killed and hurt, but how many people did you hurt? How many people did you, make suffer with the things that you did to them? And this blue tote that was sitting right next to me about a foot away just goes slamming up against the wall.
Oh, wow.
I like fell backwards a little bit because I was sitting on the floor, and I guess the look on my face was, said it all, because it was Claire and Brendan that were standing there, in there with me, and they just busted up laughing at me because they saw it happen too, and it freaked them out. But the look on my face, I guess, was just like said it all.
Oh, man.
So we went back a second time to do the reveal, and the owner wanted us to stay there. So I went in, thinking, okay, that happened to me last time. I wonder what's going to happen this time. So as we're getting everything set up, I'm handed a recorder and told to go downstairs and put it over my favorite tote. So I was like, okay, all right. So I went downstairs. All the lights were on. Nobody's down there. I walk into that utility room where the washer and dryer and the kids' toys and stuff were at, and I'm looking at the bloody stain on the ground, and I was just like, hi, how you doing? And I put that recorder up there, and I made sure that you got my picture up.
I couldn't help that one. Sorry.
I know.
Not
Well,
the police.
I'm the one that put it out there.
Jason, I have to interrupt you for a second. So in the chat feed, okay, this person on Twitch says, "Who are you gonna call?" Because you have your Ghostbusters outfit on, and then the next post says, "Not the police because they're being defunded." I shouldn't be laughing at that, but that made me laugh. That's terrible, but that was a good one. I don't know who Girthy Dog 69 is, but that was a good one. It made me laugh. Sorry, man. Go ahead.
But so when I went down to the basement to put that recorder up,
Oh God.
Go ahead.
Shoot.
Go ahead.
So I went down there, and when I put that recorder, I made sure the door was shut,
Mm-hmm.
So because I wanted to make sure that it wasn't going to do anything, and the carpet was, pretty thick, and no one was down there with me. I heard them all upstairs putting batteries in stuff, and I took out my camera and I said, "Hey, I just want to take your picture right here, you know, this bloody spot." And as I'm about ready to snap the photograph, that door slammed shut
Oh my god.
on me.
Oh my god.
And I, about dropped my camera if I didn't have it on a string. And I spun around and I busted out of that room really quickly. And I'm looking around and there's not a soul around with it,
Wow.
near me. So I looked up the stairs and there's Ben and Claire and Brendan upstairs, and I'm thinking, holy shit, that really just happened.
Yep.
So it is true. If you taunt or you kind of push it a little bit, things can happen. So
Yeah. Yeah, I've found that out the hard way a couple of times. So.
Oh, I know you have.
If something like honest to God scratched me, I'd be out. I'd be like, bye, I'm done. I'm checking out. I'm done with this. Okay, next question, Jason. This is not stupid question, but I know the answer to this, but do you believe in aliens?
You know me.
Well, I know, but the people watching might not.
I do believe there's a lot more than just us on this tiny little planet that's a speck of dust out in the middle of the universe.
You and I have something in common, and that is, alien, like, the thought of aliens scares the shit out of me. I've talked about that before, and I believe that you feel the same. Like, no, scary. No thanks. I love aliens, but, like, actually the thought of aliens freaks me out.
What gets me is the fact that they, all the stories of abductions or anything like that, they do it so stealthily. And,
yes.
The idea of them coming into your house or anything like that.
That's so creepy.
Yeah.
I know. Staring, from your
so
windows,
creepy,
walking through
man.
your house.
God.
They walk through your house. They stop your car. The fact that people, have missing time or they become paralyzed and stuff like that. So that also goes to the same fact of, I've been talking to a few people in the, with, that whole sleep paralysis. And everything, and I know Dan has that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
He's had it a few times, but so with that, a lot of people, when they have sleep paralysis and you're fully awake, or so they say. I've never had it, before that I know of, but they see things.
Yes, you do.
Shadow figures and stuff like that, creeping around the corners or staring at you, walking up towards you and everything. So is that really a shadow, or is that just some kind of possible alien type thing coming at you? Who knows? I don't know.
Right. And you hear cases. I mean, there's some of the more famous cases, like
The Fire
what was
in the
his
Sky.
name? Yeah, Walton.
The Fire in the Sky movie.
Travis Walton.
Yep.
Yes. That they have. I mean, people have looked into. And we're talking about professionals, very intelligent people, that have not been able to disprove or debunk his story.
Right.
And that okay, yeah, you got my attention there, but then you even get into stuff like, well, in the I can't remember what the name of the book was, but it was the book. It was co-authored by Jason Hawes and Grant Wilson, and they.
Oh yeah, I know that. I know that story. Yeah.
Yeah. When they first started the Atlantic Paranormal Society, they responded to a case and actually
out in New Hampshire, out in the woods.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, and they actually caught footage. That made them say, okay, this is not a case that we're prepared to deal with. Let us put you in touch with these friends of ours at MUFON or something like that. I can't remember what the organization was that they referred them to, but, it was people that specialize in investigating UFO sightings, abductions, that type of thing.
I know that story by heart because the moment I read that story, that one little chapter, I put the book down because it just kind of startled me.
Right.
You know, because the name of the story of that chapter is called "The Face in the Window."
Oh, that's creepy.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
That's creepy. I don't even. You know what? You learned the lesson. I'm gonna be smart, and I'm not gonna read that one, Jason. I'm gonna just take your word on it, and I'm not gonna read it.
I could tell you the story right now.
You know what? Go ahead and tell me the story, because that way I don't have to ever pick up the book.
You want me to?
Yeah,
you want me to?
but like the face in the window. I mean, fuck that's creepy, man.
So Jason and Grant were, like Jeremiah said, they went off to a case that a family out in New Hampshire. They got their dream house. It was a beautiful home out in the woods. This family started having bad dreams, seeing lights in their house. They were seeing children running around their house, within the house and everything. Weird noises outside. So they really thought their house was haunted. So they contacted Jason and Grant, who were basically on their own back then. You know, this is in the beginning times. So this is when they're still trying to build their team and everything. So they traveled to New Hampshire, and they met the family. They set up cameras. They went through the night. You know, that night when they were investigating, they heard weird noises outside, just kind of like they were told. They said it sounded like a heavy tub, like a bathtub being drug across the yard or something. So they ran outside, didn't see anything. They went in, finished up the evening, and they went back to their hotel to go over the evidence and everything like that. Now, this is when they did like 2 or 3 nights at each location.
Right.
They did, you know, if they were going to travel that far, they were going to do a thorough investigation. And do
Right.
it. So, as they're going over the footage, they see at one point, and they had a camera pointed at the back sliding glass window that also had, like, just to the right of it, another small window. And while they're viewing the footage, they see a little head pop up in the window, like looking in, and it startled them. And then it goes back down, and then it walks across the glass window, the sliding glass window, and they just were beside themselves, because they were like, "That's a freaking gray alien," because it had all the features and everything that everybody has ever said that they see.
Mm-hmm.
So the next day they go there and they're like, "We're going to do this all over again. We're going to set up everything the way we did, and we're going to do it." So, and like I said, they were having bad nightmares and everything in the house too, especially their daughter. Well, when they were there, they heard some noises outside again. So they go outside, and the father goes out with them to kind of check things out, and that's when they hear their daughter scream. They run back inside, and she's screaming, "No, no, 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 get him away, get him away." And as she's doing, you know, they're like, "What the hell is going on here?" So they go back and they look at the footage again, and again, same
Jesus.
creature is like stalking around outside and everything. So they had to like come to that assumption and the conclusion that they had to sit the family down and say, "Look, the house is not haunted. We believe you are being visited by extraterrestrials, that there's actual aliens out here, and that is the answer to the why there's lights outside, why there's little children running around your house, and why you're probably having sleep paralysis or anything like that, and you're having bad nightmares. What you think is bad nightmares, but it's actually more or less them coming around and looking at you."
Fuck
Right.
that. Oh my God.
So you sleep good tonight there, Steph.
You know what? You know what? I can't help but wonder if, you know, the movie Signs, M. Night Shyamalan, or whatever his name is, you know, his movie Signs. I can't help but, like, that story you were telling me, it reminds me of that movie. Like, you know what I'm talking, have you seen it? Of course you have.
Signs?
Yes.
Oh, I love that movie.
Do you think
Mel Gibson?
that's, yeah, of course, man. Do you think that movie is, like, loosely based on that story, possibly?
No, not really.
No?
I mean, I think it's a common story.
Right.
People are having these kind of moments all the time, you know. people being lifted up out of their house and, taken away somewhere else. Like Travis Walton, I truly believe that story. I've done my own research on it too, and just knowing that he was gone for 5 days, and I believe they said that in those 5 days, he didn't have anything to eat or drink during that time. He was so dehydrated, so sickly, and he was like several miles away. I mean, he was like several towns away, I believe, that they found him. And they had like a huge search party out there looking for him. The sheriffs, volunteers, everybody looking out there. And everybody passed their test when they did a lie detector's test. I mean, the one guy that had an argument with, Travis Walton, there's that kind of like bad blood on the, up on the mountain, because they were a bunch of loggers.
Right.
And stuff. They were up there trimming trees and stuff like that. And he initially, I think in the movie, I think his name is like Dallas or something like that. He failed his initial lie detector's test. But then he went back later and did it again after, he calmed down, and he passed it.
Right.
Jesus.
So I don't know. I truly believe in all that. And the fact that he didn't take any money for years.
Right. Yeah. Because that would be something, especially in today's society, that's something, and not, because, that story was back in the 70s?
What was that? Sorry.
Sorry. That event happened. Didn't that happen back in the 70s or 80s?
Yeah, 70s actually. Like before I was born, I think. I think it was like 75.
Wow.
Or just a little earlier.
So
you were a teenager, right?
Kiss my ass. No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't. I was 2 years old if it was 75. So bite me. But but even in the culture that we live in the last 5 decades, it would be real easy for even an earnest person to work to get rich off of that. Even if it was an authentic experience, and just the fact that he didn't. Whatever his reasoning was, that in my opinion lends a lot of authenticity to his story. So, and I don't know why this popped into my head when it did, but for crying out loud, what is the? Okay, so that mountaineering expedition over, I think it was in Siberia.
The Devil's Pass.
Yeah. Do you think that was, and just your opinion, do you think that was extraterrestrial related, UFO related, or I guess that's one and the same, or like cryptid related, or did a bunch of people just go crazy?
Well, okay, so Josh Gates actually did several 2 or 3 episode. On that case. He actually traveled to the exact spot that the tent was found and the bodies were found. And it took him a long time to get there.
Jason, I do not know the story you guys are talking about.
Okay. So, it's out in, it's like near Russia. It's a bunch of like cross country skiers. They were all in their 20s, I believe. And this happened, oh God, and the date's gonna I want to say this happened maybe back in the 50s or 60s.
Mm-hmm. That sounds right.
Yeah, something like that. All the photographs are black and white. And you can look them up too. And I forget the name of the guy. It's like, it starts with a D. It's like Dyatlov.
Yes,
Pass,
that's it.
Dyatlov
Pass, the Dyatlov Pass incident.
Yes. Yeah, because you and me did a podcast with the gang one time before.
Yeah.
About this. So they went on this huge expedition to go through this pass and keep on going, and they were writing letters to their families, and they kept in contact in town, sending back letters and communication to let them know, okay, we've made it to this point, we made it to this point, but all of a sudden they did not communicate back to anybody. And a few days go by, and next thing you know, it's like a long time goes by. And so they send out search and rescue, and they end up finding their tent in the middle of nowhere in this little passage. And their tent was kind of, it wasn't even in the trees or out, in coverage. It was right in the middle of nowhere. And so much snow everywhere. There's a lot of snow, and they can't tell what's, there's nobody in the tent, there's nobody around it, but they see the footprints running and scattering everywhere, and they see clothes inside, and from just investigating it, they noticed that the tent was cut from the inside out, and they ran for their lives. And then they, like, digging through the snow and everything, they end up finding one body after another, and each body is completely different from the next in how they died. It was hypothermia on one or two of them, and then there is there's one person who has like complete damage to the chest, like they were hit by like a car or something, but yet there's no evidence of that, but the internal damage is there, like a blast. There's one girl who is completely burned on the face, her tongue is missing.
What the fuck? Her tongue is missing?
Yeah, it's true. You can even view the photographs of this online. It's crazy. So they're just dumbfounded by it. Now, of course, the investigation, of course, just says, oh, they may have probably just got disoriented, or they were drunk or something, and they ran for their lives. There's all this stupid explanation for it, but the last photograph taken by one of the hikers was a very bright light. And it's unusual because the photograph just shows a bright light right in their face. There wouldn't have been any reason for that.
No.
So it's either military did it or UFOs did it. Wow. Either way, they ran from their tent, frightened for their lives. And they were trying to run.
Into the Siberian wilderness with no clothes on in some cases, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's just nuts and how that all went down. They still don't know what happened. And families still don't believe that, it's a simple explanation of they just, went crazy or they were drunk and that's what happened.
Right.
They actually woke up from the middle of in their tent. They woke up from a sleep in the middle of the night. They cut through their tent and ran with like barely any clothes, any socks. Some were barefoot, and they were running for their lives. So,
wow.
It could have been military that was doing something out there and they saw something, but that last photograph that they took was a bright light, and, it could be something that was hovering around them.
Wow. And Captain Carl, he just commented saying there was also an increased level of radiation.
And he is correct on that. Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, there's an increased level of radiation on some of the bodies and the area itself and everything. So, like I said, it's either military doing stuff or it's aliens. I mean, there is no other explanation to it.
Right. Wow.
Now, some have claimed that it was Bigfoot out there doing it.
Yeah, but that, and that was my first assumption when I first heard the story years ago. But that doesn't, as I dug deeper into it, that does not explain the burns.
The tongue missing.
It could explain that because you could assume that it would be a weird explanation, but I mean, you could assume that a creature that large is going to be at least an omnivore, so they're going to like to eat meat,
Right.
But just the tongue and nothing else.
No, that doesn't.
That doesn't really make sense, and there's just so many other details. Like if there was something creeping around outside, why the fuck would you cut through a tent?
You'd stay in the tent. You'd want to stay in the tent.
Right.
To get away from it, you would only anyone, especially anyone that's spent any time in the woods or in the wilderness. That as thin as it may be, that tent really is kind of somewhat of a line of defense. It's not a lot, but for an average wilderness creature, it's at least it keeps you out of sight.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're only going to bust out of that tent in that fashion if you think that it's something that's going to be inclined to come in after you, or if it's not providing any defense or shelter.
Right.
I'm not expressing that as the psychological end of that as well as I wish I could, but that you kind of get the point.
It was aliens. I think it was aliens. I think it was aliens.
I just kind of feel like with them cutting through the tent and running, it had to be some kind of like they heard it coming.
Right.
And maybe hovering or something. And
right.
It freaked them out. Because it was snow. I mean, how would you really hear footsteps in the snow, especially if they were passed out and sleeping?
Yeah.
But if something thunderous was coming overhead and hovering or something,
a bright light,
one more, it doesn't make sense.
That's a really creepy story, man. That's a really, really creepy story.
Oh, Steph, I'll send you pictures of stuff that I've dug up. I'll send you those.
She's like, she had this look on her face, like, gee, thanks.
I'm like, so Jason, if hard to believe this could ever happen, but like, if you ever could actually like meet an alien, okay? What would be if you could like ask an alien like one question or two questions, like what would you want to know?
Sorry, you're breaking up again. Sorry.
No, that's okay. How about now? Is that better or no? No. Hello? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Can you hear her? Can you hear me?
I hear you, but for some reason her questions just get broken up.
I'm
sorry.
I think it's the pitch of your voice. It's not carrying well.
I don't even know what that means, but okay.
Let me see here. Okay, you're on number 1. Okay.
Is that better? Maybe.
So ask your question.
Can you hear me though? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, we're good. Okay. So if you could ask, like, if you got the chance to sit down and interview an alien, what 2 questions would you ask if you could ask 2 questions? What would you want to know?
What would I want to know?
Yep.
From like if I met somebody like that? Like
from an extraterrestrial?
If you were able to sit down and ask an alien 2 questions, what would they be?
Can I go with you? Get me the hell off of here,
You're like, can I get a ticket to ride?
What I would like to know is, did we start from somewhere else? Did they help create this planet the way it is today?
Right.
And
That's
why are they meddling with stuff? Like it's almost like they're doing surveillance on us in a way.
Right.
So that's what I would really want to know is, like, did you help create some of this today? Almost like and I know that kind of goes against every person out there that has a religious background or whatever, but honestly, there's civilizations that we keep finding that has like such a high-tech civilization from the past that, the pyramids, for God's sake, are still standing when we can't build a frickin' house or a skyscraper that lasts more than 20 years, 30 years.
Yep.
So maybe that's just because we're lazy these days, but
I mean, I totally get what you're saying, because I mean, and it's not just the pyramids. I mean, you've got you've got the Egyptian pyramids, but you've also got the Aztec and Mayan pyramids, and you've got the Stonehenge, and you've got what else? What's that? Machu Picchu.
yes, yeah.
And then
did you know? I just read this today. I kind of skimmed it when I was supposed to be at work and working, but I was like actually looking at stuff. But the archaeologists actually found an even larger Stonehenge around Stonehenge.
Yes, I've actually read some about that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's weird. They have even no idea.
And then there's the Easter Island statues.
Exactly.
We see the heads of them, but that's not all the statue. They're actually full body statues. All you see is the head above ground. And some of those are bigger than some of the blocks that built the pyramids. How the fuck did they get them there?
Aliens. It was aliens. What about you, Jeremiah? If you could ask an extraterrestrial, what would you want to know?
Oh God, I don't even know. What would I ask? I don't know. I'm a little more existential nowadays. I would probably ask something philosophical, like "Are we beyond hope?" or something. But that's just me. I'm a little more existential and cynical, I guess, nowadays. But
oh my God.
It'd almost be fair to ask if they're ready to take us away and take us to the next planet.
Right? Yeah.
You're like, well,
we done screwed this up. Yeah, we done screwed this up.
Yeah, we fucked this one up. Let's get a new one. We're like the cancer of Earth. What can I say? We're taking over. Did Elvis go home? You know what, Carl? David Bowie just went home. Okay. Carl posted, "Did Elvis go home?" So yesterday I was actually having a conversation. Was it yesterday with one of the girls? I don't know, but they were asking about David Bowie, and I'm like, he's not dead. He just went home. I don't want to admit that he's dead. Okay.
Oh my gosh. So. You keep talking. I had something in my mind that I wanted to ask a while ago, and it just I completely brain farted it. I'll have to.
So, what was your earliest memory experience that would be paranormal, Jason? Like that you like what triggered your love for the paranormal? There's my question.
What triggered me?
Yeah.
To do all this?
Yes.
Really, I felt like everything everybody was telling me was complete crap. So,
okay.
And this was me in grade school. So, I didn't really care for. I don't know. I was just fascinated by the unknown. I was fascinated by, well, first of all, ghosts and ghost stories. I got that book, Mysteries of the Unexplained. Time magazine, put that book out like back in the 80s. And I got that for Christmas one year because my parents just knew I was like all fascinated by that. And I read that cover to cover and I never looked back. And, every aspect of weird coincidence, historical stuff, everything was just, I wanted to get more. I wanted to find out more about this and this. And, any topic that was out of the ordinary to everyday life, I wanted to know more about.
So you're pretty much just drawn to it, basically.
What's that?
You were pretty much just drawn to it.
I was. I think I was. Yeah. It was. You know, I mean, the book itself had, you know, various subjects in there, from voodoo and zombies to the paranormal, to monsters, to UFOs, to missing time, human combustion, or you know, what do you call that? Not human combustion.
Spontaneous human combustion?
Spontaneous, thank you. But just stuff like that, you know. I mean, it had such a wide range, and since then, I've collected book after book that I could and just read it, and it's amazing to actually hear the stories over time, and I'm thinking, why aren't people, like, looking at these stories?
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't people focusing on these? It doesn't make sense.
Right. You know, and that's something that I've always wondered myself. You know, why isn't there more of a mainstream scientific interest in this stuff? Because, so, you know, I understand where, you know, because you always hear the arguments about there's no statistics, there's no facts, there's no this, that, and the other to back any of it up. But, you know,
do you think it has anything to do with, like, disproving God? Do you think that has anything to do with it? Like, why there's not?
It might have a lot to do with people's religion and stuff like that. I mean, I feel like that's always like a, you know, pardon me for saying it, but I feel like religion always puts a stopper on everything.
Right, yeah.
They like to
people
control.
Are like, well, I must go to church now and and do this and this, and I'm like, oh, okay, whatever.
You know,
got to stay in the box.
Because I could go down that road if you want me to. You know?
we can't get out of the box. We've got to stay inside the box.
You know,
sheep.
I have to agree with you there. You know, because it seems like a lot of times when people start going down that road, their brain just shuts down.
Yeah,
it's like, you know, autopilot.
Because their people are programmed, especially when it comes to a lot of like the really mainstream religions. You know, people seem to be programmed to not question things, which, you know, I take exception with, because if you can't question it, how are you ever going to actually know? How can you have a faith of any kind in something that you can't fucking question?
It's because
it's
because of fear. It's because they're afraid. They're, you know, like, and nobody wants to, well, not nobody, but, you know, a lot of people are like, how could you question my God? How could you even question this? Like, shame on you. You don't even question it. You just have faith.
You know? And I have sat down and had good conversations with people about this very topic, you know, people that were willing to actually talk and, you know, have an open, honest conversation and dialogue on the subject, and they were
without being offended.
Right, you know, and we actually came to a lot of understandings, you know, on it. We didn't necessarily agree on anything, but that's not the point.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know, the point is understanding. You know, and realizing that just because your faith says something doesn't mean you can't question it, because, okay, it's like that, but why? Okay,
Right.
well then why? You know, let's dig deeper, because I believe there's even talking in a spirituality, and just how spirituality relates to life, how it relates to science, how it relates to, there is so much more I think can be learned from it, but you have to fucking question it. You know?
Yes.
Well, when and I'm not the one who said it. I just watched a documentary on it, but I saw I was watching a documentary where an actual priest from the Vatican actually said that the virgin birth was not part of the original story.
That doesn't surprise me.
And, you know, most Christians today will be like, you know, well, fuck you, you know, you know, well, how dare you say that? But you know, it's true, because there's not a single witness to anything. They're a witness within 2 decades. meaning 20 years.
Right.
You know damn well that that's not going to stand up in any court or any kind of judgment if you say, well, this person heard the story 20 years ago.
Well,
Right.
and like, not to mention, like, with your memory and being able to recall how something actually happened, the more time passes, the less accurate it becomes. Like, the less accurate of your, recollection of how something happened.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I just find it. I don't. Yeah, a virgin getting pregnant, that seems a little, defeating the purpose, I guess. I don't know. That's just me. But I don't, like, people who believe that, like, that's great for them. I just personally don't.
That's what I kind of get tired of doing with people. It's like, well, you believe what you want to believe, and to me, history happens only one way.
Yeah.
History happens only, like, all of us right now, like, today, like, I got up, I went to work, I got home, I cooked dinner, I got on the radio with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
That's history. That happened. Why would anybody want to interpret that any different?
Right.
So therefore, why are we constantly going, well, it's all about how you want to interpret? No, history only happens one way.
Mm-hmm.
It's finding out the actual truth in the actual writings of everything. It's just, it drives me crazy,
Yeah.
It's like, I just don't understand why everyone's so hell-bent to be like, well, it's all just on how you interpret it.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. That.
Yeah, and so many times has, people who actually examine, old writings and stuff like that, that they finally admit, well, we're only interpreting this in a certain way. We're not, we don't know. Because I took a course, I took a Christian course over at Friends University. And throughout the book, it says, well, we think this happened, or we believe it happened this way. And I'm like, okay, so you just say you don't know.
But, Bill Maher, I don't know if you're familiar with Bill Maher, Jason, but I
love Bill Maher.
Okay, so have you seen Religulous? His movie Religulous?
Yes, very religiously.
Pun intended.
I love that movie.
Me too.
Because
it's one of my
just
favorites.
Asking questions.
Yes, and those truck drivers got so fucking offended. Do you remember that in the little trucker chapel? And he's asking all these questions, and he's like, if you're going to question my God, I don't want any part of this, or something like that. But he says he's talking to, I can't remember which guy he's interviewing, but he said, would we agree that the New Testament came after the Old Testament? And, well, yeah. Okay, well, obviously things played out the way that, like the New Testament was written to fit the Old Testament.
Right.
I don't know how else to say that. Of course it fit, I don't know. And then there's the Jews. I don't know. They don't like the Jews, like they don't like they're like Old Testament, not New Testament. Right?
Oh, right, gotcha. They don't recognize the. Yeah, we were going to have a little more clarification on that. YouTube will pick up on that.
Well, that's that's true, but yeah, I love.
It's a great movie if anybody ever, can get past who he is and stuff.
Yes.
It's a good movie.
Yes.
I have kind of a love-hate relationship with Bill Maher because he's pompous and he's kind of asinine, but he is brutally honest. Like most comedians are. He's brutally honest. And that's the part that I like about him, because he's not afraid to tell it exactly the way he sees it. Right, wrong, indifferent, doesn't matter. That's the way he's going to say it. You know? And there's no question about what he means or what he intends with it. Mm-hmm. So, You know, that's that. Yeah.
You know, and I feel like I've kind of done my own experiment with religion too. You know, I grew up Methodist. I'm baptized there, and I'm baptized Baptist. I've tried that. I've gone to different other religions. I've even gone and went with the Jehovah's Witnesses for a while. You know that.
Hey, me too.
And
me too, Jason.
And you find out how crazy everybody freaking is.
Mm-hmm.
Not just one, but they're all. Just
Right.
kind of, I just don't understand their thinking on stuff.
Man, they get
You know?
they get so defensive too. Like,
I just want people to be like, think for yourself. Think about it in realistic ways. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because Corey's daughter actually did it. She thought about this for a long time. She's like, so in the Bible, all these people live for like all these, you know, hundreds and hundreds of years, you know? So she's like, she took like Noah and divided his, the year, you know, how many years he lived, and she divided it by 12, and she came out with like 89. That's a more realistic time of life than 950 years.
Right.
You know,
Gotcha.
and it also makes perfect sense in a time frame of, you know, if there was a great flood or how many years after a great flood or anything like that. Even though geologists say that there is no great flood in man, you know, in human time, in human lifetime, was there ever a great flood all across the world?
Right.
It doesn't show on the ground itself. So,
see, I think
but, you know, don't take my word for it. You know, people look that up yourself.
Well, I think that's what happened. I think that's what happened to the unicorns. Noah forgot to put them on the ark. The majestical creatures.
I don't know if you heard what she said. She said she thinks that's what happens to the unicorns. Noah forgot to put them on the ark.
Yep.
The unicorns?
Yep.
The poor unicorns.
Yep.
Well, that's how Bigfoot and the dinosaurs didn't, you know, make it either. They
You
weren't
know.
picked.
Gigantopithecus.
Yeah.
God, maybe Noah was a megalomaniac. Maybe he thought he was God and he could pick what he wanted to survive. Right? Sorry, that was really tacky.
Oh my goodness, we're spiraling. No. So, I do have one other quick question. You know, okay, so this is I can't talk to you on a show without, at least on an open discussion show, without talking about Bigfoot.
Oh, yes.
Oh, no.
So, I know are you still associated with Bigfoot in Kansas?
As far as I know, I don't hear from the man himself.
Okay.
But I can still do stuff with the Facebook page, so I'm guessing I am.
Okay. All right. Cool. Fair enough. So, do you have any expeditions planned? You know.
I do want to start doing it more and more. I'm going to have to do it all on my own and kind of do it myself.
Mm-hmm.
Since he's off being dad. You know, he's got 4 boys.
Right.
So, you know, Corey and I keep talking about going out and hitting some areas, go back to some of the spots that him and I had hit before. There's some areas I want to go hit, and not necessarily here in Kansas, but there's places in Missouri I want to go hit. And just because I keep hearing about stories and the fact that I've had my own encounters in certain areas, so therefore I want to go do that.
Right.
But yeah, I do plan on having some expeditions here going and actually do some more research and hopefully take care of a little bit more of the explanation of what's going on in Kansas.
Very cool. Very cool. So,
Are there sightings in Kansas?
Where have you been?
Well, obviously under a rock because
not listening to me. That's where she's
well,
been.
Yeah, you know, we've actually casted prints in Kansas. We've got several photographs. There's one on the Facebook page of Bigfoot in Kansas. There's a great photo of a print we found in western Kansas. It's Brendan's foot that's next to the footprint. It's not mine. It looks like mine because of how tiny it looks, but it's actually Brendan's foot. His foot is he's got a shoe size, I think, like 13 or 14 foot.
But yeah, about my
inches,
size.
yeah.
But he's several inches taller than I am. So
Yeah, he's what? How tall are you?
I'm 6'2". He's like 6'4", 6'6", something
Wow.
like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, so we've ran across quite a bit of evidence in the state of Kansas itself.
So, and there's and it's not just that, but there's like Bigfoot field research organizations sightings, documented sightings. One and I always fall back to this one because it's like my favorite sighting account from local lore anyway that I've found, but actually just not far south of us in Sumner County.
Really?
Yeah, right off the turnpike.
What?
Ah, yes.
There was a juvenile sighted there. At least they believe it to be a juvenile.
Like a juvenile Bigfoot?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was about my height or shorter.
And the guy, didn't it happen at the sighting occurred at night, right?
No, during the day.
Oh, was
As
it
far as
during
I
the
know.
day?
Yeah, as far as I know, it was during the day.
So these guys pulled over near an overpass or an underpass actually down there in Sumner County. If I remember correctly, the guy had to pee. So he wanders off down into the ditch and he hears some rustling and he looks over and saw what he thought was a white trash bag.
Right.
Up against the fence, but then he kind of did a double take just in time to see it go over. Didn't it go over the fence and then off out into the field? Or am I recalling that wrong?
No. He ran back to his buddies because they pulled up behind him, and he saw this thing running off in the field, and he's screaming Yeti. I just saw a Yeti, and he's running to his friends because it was white.
Right.
And if you go to the BFRO website, there's actually a drawing that he made of it.
Yep. So, and yeah, they think it was a juvenile because it was small.
Wow. So, Jason, do you think that like Bigfoot is more than one called a big feet? No, I'm just kidding. Do you think that they are they like have like the pack mentality, or are they all out on their own, or are they, do they have maternal instincts? Do they come from an egg? What do you think?
I think they are highly intelligent. I mean, if you look at any chimp or gorilla, they're highly intelligent and can live on their own without being caged up in a zoo. Sasquatch, I believe, can actually function on their own, and they are more intelligent than anything else out there in the wilderness, even maybe next to us, just for the fact that they haven't been caught yet.
Right.
Because they are one with the land. They travel and migrate, which I follow with Brendan on this, just being out in the field with him.
Mm-hmm.
That they travel the river systems, and that they just migrate through there with, and there's families. People have seen juveniles. They've seen man and woman of this. The famous photograph of the Patterson film is always said to be a female, just because you can see the female anatomy of her as she walks.
Right.
There's been kidnappings. There's been people who have been held captive by these creatures, who describe them fully. That is intelligent, playing just like a family, just like we do. I think we are the only type of creatures that do what we do. You know?
Do you think it's possible that they are just kind of... Do you think Bigfoot could potentially be like something that's kind of between us and monkeys? Or do you think that it's totally a separate species?
Some kind of what?
Like, do you think that Bigfoot could potentially be like... How do I... Am I explaining that, Jeremiah? Like,
Is it a like a great ape? Is it something like a great ape, or is it something altogether different, like a totally different species?
Oh no! You ask the rest of the team that that we're together with, and they'll probably say that it's probably some kind of alien or something,
right?
Or associated with alien,
an interdimensional traveler.
Yes, or you ask Brandon Callahan, who says he believes that they have some kind of a interdimensional type traveling process or anything. But just being out in the field and looking for it, it seems like the most highly intelligent thing out there in the wilderness. Not like a wolf or anything else. It's like when we caught that photograph and that Brendan has his foot next to it.
Yeah.
We hiked further onto the land. We got into a wooded section of it, and all of a sudden we noticed that there were no more birds chirping. There's like nature just went quiet, and we started to actually hear the rocks clicking and clacking next to us, all around us, like answering to each other. And it was so bizarre. We felt like we were being watched the entire time.
Right.
And researchers have said, if they are making noise and you hear them, that's because they are very close and they're looking right at you.
Right. It almost seems, I've had a lot of really similar experiences, and some of the experiences you and I have had together out in the sticks, Jason. But it's almost like they're observing and strategizing.
It is. I mean, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Working on your property, you try to figure out, okay, what are we gonna? What's our plan?
Exactly.
What's our strategy on this? Now, I remember it was me, Brendan, my dad, and Brendan's cousin. We went out hiking and camping in an area where we casted a print, and then later that night we went for a long hike on the dirt road that was not just kind of north of it. And as we're going down this dirt road, and it was no houses around, it was very vacant area and territory, and we started hearing the yelps and the wood knocks, and it was like all around us.
Right.
And it was just crazy. We couldn't believe what we were hearing. Even my dad couldn't believe what he was hearing. And he hasn't done this his whole life. He's just kind of been out 2 or 3 times with us,
Jason, it really catches your attention, like when your dad or my dad or dads in general, they can't explain something. Like, that's really what gets me. Is there's been once that my dad has called me and been like, there's something that happened and I can't explain it, Stephanie. And I'm just like, so probably like same with your dad, like if he's believing it, it's like, okay, maybe there is something to this. Does that make sense?
So let me ask you two, do you believe that UFOs and Bigfoot are together?
Okay.
No.
So she's a straight up, flat out no on that, and I'm pretty close to that. I have to admit, the only thing that makes me think about it
That'd be pretty cool, though.
the only thing that really makes me think about it is that there does seem to be, and granted, I haven't done a huge amount of research on this, so the jury is still way out there, but there does seem to be, if you look into it some correlation between increases in like Bigfoot sightings and increases in UFO sightings. But there could be any number of other explanations for that.
So maybe potentially the gray aliens are like the baby Bigfoots, and then when they mature, then they get hairy.
Well, one of the running theories out there right now is that Bigfoot, like Sasquatch, is actually alien food. But I'm not even touching that one. Not with a 10-foot pole.
Tastes like chicken.
I mean, seriously, that's what some people are talking about right now. I don't buy that, but that's just, but that's kind of my thoughts on it. There does seem to be possibly, I say, some correlation between increases in Bigfoot sightings and increases in UFO and alien phenomena, but
that couldn't just be a coincidence because it's more accepted now than it used to be?
It could be. Who knows? I will say this very, very flat out. I do tend to believe that Bigfoot is, what's the catchphrase? An undiscovered species of American great ape.
The leading champion in hide and seek. World champion. Hey, Carl had a good point. He says if you find one...
The social distancing champion.
There we go. He mastered that shit. Carl said if you find one, it sure seems the other is there too. Like aliens and Bigfoot. I mean, who knows? Who knows if Bigfoot is real. I just personally, but who am I to say they're not? I believe in aliens, but I don't know. I just don't know about Bigfoot, I just don't know. I mean, I haven't had, you guys have had an up-close personal experience with something to do with Bigfoot. I never have. And so I'm not swearing it off forever, but, I'm sure that if I had a personal experience, I might change my tune a little bit,
Right.
But... yeah, but I mean, I've never really had a personal experience with aliens. I mean, maybe I was abducted. Who knows? Jason, do you think you've been abducted by aliens? Is that why you're so afraid of them?
What if Bigfoot is only seeing the lights in the sky and is curious about it, and that's why he comes out of hiding because he doesn't know what's going on either?
That's entirely possible. That is actually a very good point.
That it kind of brings them out too because they're just as curious as we are.
Carl says humans taste bad. That's
why.
And
then they turn around and see us, and then they're like, "Oh shit, I just got caught."
Right.
Busted.
Right. Oh my goodness.
But I don't know. But did you? There is a thing that I posted on a road trip today that talked about the possible DNA of Loch Ness Monster.
I saw that. I did not have time to read it, but I did see that. That's really cool.
Yeah, so if that's possible, that they actually found that. Now, I remember a few years back, I was watching a documentary that they actually did a sonar. They put a little submarine down there, and they did a little sonar and picture capture, and it's like they saw what looked like an actual decaying corpse that resembles the exact same structure and physical body of the Loch Ness Monster down there.
Wow.
Is it possible that the Loch Ness Monster is just a dinosaur that survived? I don't know.
I mean, that's kind of that tends to be the prevailing thought on it.
I mean,
they're saying that, Loch Ness is we don't know what's in the ocean. There's still stuff that is so... To me, the ocean is creepy. It's just it's just very creepy because there's so many things out there in the ocean. Just Corey and I and her kids went to down into Houston, into Galveston, just 3-4 weeks ago. And we went to they just opened up the aquarium that was there, and we went inside. And just some of the creatures they had in there, just some of the jellyfish that had the electricity going through them, and that's just tip of the iceberg with all the crazy stuff that's in the ocean. Now they're saying that Loch Ness, not the creature but the actual body of water, that they have a dam and a an area that they open it up every so often to the ocean, and boats can come in and out and stuff like that. And they feel like that sometimes the creatures are passing back and forth. Some fish and other stuff are passing back and forth. Who knows? Could that be? Maybe there's sea creatures that are popping in, or into the lock that they're not able to really identify right offhand because they're not expecting it in the lock, but maybe it's identifiable in the ocean.
It could be.
I don't know.
That could
be. That's really interesting. That's a very interesting thought.
And if there is a creature that is from back in the day of the dinosaurs, or even a little bit beyond dinosaurs, that survived everything, especially in the ocean area, maybe some of those species have evolved, and maybe they're able to pass from that kind of water to the other kind of water.
Right.
Yeah, like Carl says, nesting. They're kind of just doing different things.
Well, I mean, that's not entirely out of the realm of possibility, even with known science, because I mean, you have sharks, which are pretty much dinosaurs,
crocodiles,
which they can live in. Well, they're known for spending most of their life in the ocean, but they adapt very well to fresh water. I mean, they have found bull sharks hundreds and hundreds of miles up the Mississippi.
Right.
Big bull sharks.
And just recently, there are octopus that are dozens of them are coming up out of the water onto the land. I mean,
I read about that.
Life is just changing.
That's kind of alarming.
It's evolving, and it's creepy, kind of, in a way.
It's kind of alarming.
But how I always look at everything is, I want to look at it in the most natural kind of way I can. What's the most plausible, natural answer to everything?
Right.
Well,
not just a creepy paranormal type way, but what's the most logical explanation? And that's what you have to do with even history, and the Bible and everything. Let's look at it in the most realistic way as possible and see if we can tell the story. Because that's what we've been doing, even with some of our hauntings that we're doing.
Exactly.
Well, and Jason, I was getting ready to say, that's probably partly why you're really, really good at what you do when you do investigations.
I didn't catch that, sorry.
I said, I think that's probably a big reason why you're so good at doing the investigations, because you go in skeptical. You go in okay, what could this possibly be? And you try to figure out a logical explanation for what's going on in the client's home or building or whatever. And so the way I have a lot of respect for the way that you work, because you're not just going in there oh, did you hear that? Oh, run! Did you see that? Does that make sense? Yeah. Hey, I gotta ask, Jason, how did you and Jeremiah meet? In case you want to share.
Are you there?
I am. I'm trying to hear what she's saying. Sorry, the mic's
no, you're
still
fine.
Not doing well.
She asked if you wanted to share your perspective about how we met.
How we met?
Yeah.
You and him.
Oh, I'll tell you how we met.
Was there alcohol involved?
No. It was. I had just gotten the job for Ghost Tours of Kansas to become a tour guide for Wichita, and I don't even know why I did that, because I hate public speaking with a passion. I was always that last person in line in class to do my speech, and it may have kind of maybe been alcohol related when I got up there, because I couldn't really get myself to do it alone. But I was so passionate because I had just done a case in Atchison. I was 5-30 people, and I'm thought, to me, I'm well, this is a lot of freaking people. How can you do an investigation like this?
Right.
You know, and then now I look back and where we're at today, you know, and I'm like, yeah, I get it now.
I get it now.
But so after that, I was like so wanting to be involved in the paranormal and everything. So I saw Ghost Tours of Kansas. Kathy Ramirez was, you know, looking for a tour guide to do Wichita. And I'm like, shit, I got to do it. You know, I got to do this. You know, it's Wichita. I'm right here. So I contacted her. I had to do like a huge, you know, description of who I am, why I would be good at this, and everything. She was very thorough. I gotta admit, she was very thorough on that. So she took me. She hired me for the job, and we went around Wichita looking at different locations all over town. And then after about 2 weeks, she goes, "Okay, I think you're set. Hey, by the way, remember that church there at Hillside and Douglas?" And I said, "Yeah." And I said, she goes, "Well, a team that I know is going to be there that night, you know, tomorrow night. Do you want to go? I'll just tell them that you're going to stop by, that you're my tour guide." I thought, sure, heck yeah. You know, so I showed up, and here I am. I'm waiting in the car, and he's probably heard me tell this story. So here I am sitting in the car and everything, just waiting. And I look over and I see all these cars drive up. And I see this big, tall guy, bald head, you know, come out of the car, and he just kind of stands there, staring at the. Yeah, I think you had a coffee in your hand, of course,
Yeah.
or an energy drink or something. You're sucking that down, and you got
My
your
mother's
hands on
milk.
you got your hands on your hip, and you're staring at the church.
Oh God, I can picture that. I can
And
picture that.
I see the shirt that you're wearing, you know, it said Everyday Legacy Paranormal, and I see other people come around, you know, and I look at you and I'm like, check out this dude. I was like, look at them. They all got matching shirts out there, you know, but then as soon as we walked in, oh my God, I was blown away. I was blown away by, you know, the structure, all the equipment. You guys were flinging the cable reels over the balcony. You know, you guys had that set up in such a matter of time, you know, into your command base, you know, inside the church and everything. Now, I'd already been in the church before with Kathy and all them, like just a few months prior.
Uh-huh.
So I already kind of knew my way around a little bit. But, you know, watching you guys and how you ran everything, it was amazing. And sure as, you know, that place never disappointed. So,
Yeah.
you know, things happened that night, but I never got a chance to be around you that much. But it was just a short time after that, I got invited to be on the podcast that we used to have.
Yeah.
The
Paradigm Project.
Yeah, the Paradigm Project show. And so we, you know, I went over to Ben and Claire's and had you know, you guys invited me on the podcast, and we started hanging out that night. And like right after the show, right after the podcast, you started showing me all this evidence, video, Sasquatch screams that you've caught on, you know, while out and about doing stuff.
Uh-huh.
And I was just blown away by it, you know, and I was like, oh my God, I want to be a part of this so bad, you know. And it wasn't much longer after that you guys took me aboard and stuff, and it was fantastic ever since.
Yeah.
But I gotta admit though, the first, you know, I didn't get the chance to work with you at all until we actually took the trip in, I think, what was it, 2012?
Yeah.
That we went to Tahlequah?
Yep.
That was like my first time actually working with you.
Wow.
And everything. And yeah, 2012. I met you like in 2009.
Yeah.
And it was
that
like
sounds about
2012.
right.
Yeah, 2012. I finally got a chance to work with you, and I purposely stopped you because you remember when we went down to the creek bed
Uh-huh.
and everything. We were looking around. Then we all hiked back up.
Yeah.
I purposely stopped you right there. For one, I just had a feeling that we were being watched, but it was
I
also
remember
for
that.
the fact, yeah, and but it was for the fact that I really wanted to just talk to you. So we, had that chance to talk, and then while we're talking, there's something dark over into the wooded area that we kept looking and seeing, but also then we heard Ben's voice call out your name.
Yeah. Oh, holy shit! I remember that now. I remember that. I remembered the whole thing, but I had forgotten about the mimic. Holy shit! That was creepy. That was fucking creepy.
Because it wasn't through a walkie or anything. It was out loud, and it was Ben's voice screaming out Jeremiah.
And the reason that was so creepy is because that wasn't the first time that almost exact scenario had happened. It had happened at another location in Anthony, at the historic Anthony Theater. I don't think you ever got to go there, but we actually have on recording there's the audio and video recording of me and Ben standing there talking about something that they had just seen and witnessed, and then as we're talking, while Ben's mouth is not moving, in fact, it talked over me. Ben's voice, it was mimicking Ben's voice, mocking something that I said.
What?
Yeah. And so then fast forward about 3-4 years later, and about 3 years later, I think, and then we're 200 miles away, 250 miles away, and there's something else out there speaking in Ben's voice, calling my name.
And he wasn't with you guys on that one?
Huh?
Was Ben with you guys on that?
I can't remember. Was Ben there?
Which location?
Yeah. Was Ben there at Tahlequah that time?
Yeah, he was, but he was up at the fire. He was already over the fence, over by the fire, where we, which is not far from where we camp, and where it's not far from what the house that's broken down.
Right.
So he was like a long ways away.
Like hundreds of yards away,
he could
over
not,
a hill.
He could. Oh well, if he was over a hill, there's no way he could have.
To hear it as plainly as Jason and I heard this, he could not have yelled loud enough from where he was.
Man.
It was not a
amazing.
physical impossibility.
It was amazing. Yeah. Even I said that was Ben's voice.
Yeah. And I remember that because we went to looking for him, and then we found, hey, how long you been sitting here? Well, I've been here for a little while. Well, no, because we just heard you. He's
what? Oh my gosh.
So, yeah, that was wild.
So what do you think? How do you feel about spirits doing that, mimicking voices?
So okay, so if you remember some of there's all kinds of fairy tales and lore about that type of thing. And if you remember correctly, at that location, there was I can't remember what it was called, but there was the
Wendigo.
Yes. It was specifically related to the water in the creek that was there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't remember if that one specifically was the Wendigo or not, but I can't remember.
You mean down there at the water?
Yes.
Down there. That was like they were told that it was like the doppelganger.
Yes. So it would imitate and mimic people, and draw you in, and then basically, if you pissed it off or didn't appease it, it would basically drag you into the water, kill you, and then take your place.
Oh, that's creepy.
Yeah, but I can honestly say I kind of flipped off the water and didn't give any offering or anything. Never happened to me. So
maybe it thought you were me or something. Who knows? But that what I was saying is that there is lore about such things, and it seems like in the lore it never really ends well. But
right.
I've heard this type of thing numerous times, and most of the time I really just kind of think it's just just a snarky spirit having fun. Let's pick on them a little bit. Let's scare them. Let's see how much can they take before they shit their pants this time.
Oh God.
Well, see, we actually had like a mimicking of the voice there at the old print shop. You've heard this? Have you heard this?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, it was Michelle. You remember that story?
I do.
Leo and I were upstairs along with a couple other people, and we left Michelle downstairs, who couldn't make it up the stairs because of her knees. So she's like, "I'll just sit down here. I'm fine." I'm like, "You're in the dark." She goes, "I'm fine. I'll be okay." So we're upstairs of the print shop in this huge warehouse, and we're walking around. All of a sudden, we hear Michelle scream out, "Help me!" And I'm thinking she fell down or something happened.
Right.
So, and I swear to God, to both of you, that it was her voice.
Well,
she
she
screamed that out.
Everyone that I talked to, everyone that told me that story says the same thing. It was her voice.
It was her freaking voice. We start making a beeline to that staircase, and she hollers back up to us, "That wasn't me." And it just stopped us. Leo and I just stopped.
She heard it too.
Oh, loud and clear.
Wow.
That would be freaky.
She just goes, "That was not me."
Man, but Jason, I bet you went from like a moment of panic to like, "Oh shit, what happened to her?" to "Wait a minute. Oh God, that wasn't her." That would be a quick shift in the feeling towards the situation.
I didn't know what to do with that situation.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, what would you guys do?
I don't know.
Well, I would have gone and
you would have tried to find the source. You would have.
I would have. I would have
like,
visualized Michelle to make sure that she is actually okay. Because who knows? At that point, you have to wonder. Okay, was it the first voice that was really her, or the second voice that was really her?
I'd be like, bye, I'm out.
So you got to actually visualize her to make sure she is actually okay, verifiable. Now, what the fuck did we hear?
Right.
Let's see if we can get that to happen again.
Right, because we even tested it. We went outside the building. We went everywhere, trying to mimic that voice and trying to replicate that. Nothing.
And you couldn't do it.
Could not replicate that.
That just reminded me of one of my favorite stories from the print shop, and I'll tell this quick story, and then we're going to have to go.
Can I 2 seconds before you start that?
Yes.
I'll just have to say, we recently went back finally, and may have caught something on video.
Really?
At the print shop?
So yeah, that place is a little different, and things are happening a little bit different there than what you remember.
Really? Well, I will have to anxiously await that.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the print shop right now?
Because let's just say we got it on video of something moving.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Go ahead with your very, very interesting, right?
Yes, and that's actually the quote. That was the second or the first incident of Ben's voice. We were at that theater, and when we heard Ben's voice mocking something that I said. That's what it said. Very, very interesting.
That is the most amazing audio footage ever. I love that. When it actually mimics him mimics Jeremiah because he goes very, very interesting, and then you hear the spirit go very, very interesting.
It was. Yeah, it was crazy. But back to the print shop. One of my favorite memories from there. I've got a lot, and all of them paranormal. This one not so much paranormal, but it makes me laugh because this one actually gave me a little bit of a start. It got my heart rate up just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah,
just a little bit.
Ended up not being paranormal, but I'll get to that later. So we're at the end of the night and we're tearing down equipment. I'm upstairs getting the cameras from up there, and I hear someone say my name. Hey guys, was that you? No. What? Trick is, they were saying my first name, not the name that I go by. They were saying my first name, Daniel.
Oh.
So I'm like, what? I figured it was just them downstairs, trying to give me shit or something. So anyway, I go on about my business, and then I hear it again. But this time it sounds angry, and it sounds like it's in the room next to me. And then it says my name, and then it goes on an angry tangent that I couldn't understand, but it was obviously very unsettled, very angry. I mean, like, to the point that I actually, while I was at the time still thinking it was paranormal, it sounded real enough that I actually slunk up against the wall and got my little pig sticker out of my pocket. And I was standing there trying to blend in, and not doing a very good job of it. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And because it said my name twice. And I'm like, this isn't right. And I don't think you were there for this one, Jason. I think this was just Roth and Leo that was there.
Right.
So anyway, I wait for a little bit, and I go, okay, it seems to be quiet now. So I stuck my pig sticker back in my pocket, and I grabbed the cameras right quick and ran downstairs. And I go up to Roth and Leo, and I say, okay, you guys have to be straight with me. Did you just yell my name, my first name?
And Roth was probably like, no, man.
They were like, no, we didn't hear anything. We didn't say anything. I said, okay, were you over there? Because there's an area where there used to be machinery that was sitting on the first floor, but it extended up through the second floor, so there's a big-ass hole in the floor. and that's near where I was. I said, were you guys just talking over by that? And they said, no, we've been up here the whole time. I shit you not, guys. I just heard someone yell my name twice, and then it went on to, and it was echoing in the fucking room I was in. What the hell? Well, it turns out they said, oh, that might have been that drunk guy we heard out in the alley a while ago.
Oh, my God.
Are you fucking kidding me? This is just now occurring to you? Thank you, guys.
Wow.
But it was funny. We all had a good laugh over it, especially because they like to give me shit about that because something finally startled me. So,
And it wasn't even like a thing to startle you.
Right,
It's just a drunk guy.
Oh my gosh. I'm really excited to hear about and see what you guys may have caught on video. That's awesome.
Yeah, we keep a not. Leo and I keep looking at it and viewing the footage of it, because he saw an actual face looking at him through the plastic.
Wow.
There's like a little cutoff, and he saw a face looking at him, a female.
Wow, a female.
And he was very adamant about it, but as he turns the camera and keeps focusing on it, you actually see a figure step back and away.
Wow.
And there is nobody there, dude.
Dude, that is amazing.
It is great footage. We can't wait to actually share that with everybody because it's pretty freaking cool. And some of the things that we're we're working on is, you know, it's awesome. It's amazing stuff that we're doing, and it all stems from like kickstarting everything that we've ever done.
Well,
You know?
that's, you guys, I may have started it, but you guys took and ran with it, You guys have done so much, everything that I ever wanted to do with it, well, almost, maybe, close. You're getting close to everything that I ever wanted to do with it. You guys have done, and that's,
We're trying.
you guys have done an amazing job, with what what you were handed. And yeah, I'm really, I couldn't have, and Brandon Callahan would say the same thing about Road Trip, but Road Trip and ELP both, there's not better people that I could have handed it off to, so.
Well, and just for all the viewers that are watching, Jeremiah started Everyday Legacy. Him and Brandon Callahan started Road Trip. Leo and I have just taken it and just continued it. So,
and done an awesome job at it. Hell, awesome job. So
it's just it's just following the passion that you guys had. So,
well, I mean that's what it's all about, because
you can't ask for more than that.
That's where it's got to start. You can do anything if you have the passion and the ability to persevere.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, but it all started with you, dude.
Well.
Yeah, it's something that you got to be proud about.
What was the inception? Like the moment where you were like, light bulb, I think I want to do something.
You talking about me?
Yeah. Yes, I'm talking about you.
So, I was sitting at home watching Ghost Hunters one night.
So
honestly, okay. So I've always had a lifelong interest. You know this,
I know.
And pretty much anyone that's been a viewer for a while understands. I've had a lifelong interest in anything fringe and weird. It's something that I love it deep down in here.
You married me, so.
So, yeah, fast forward to, oh shit. So, this damn thing, me and my microphone are about to go round and round tonight. I'm just going to do this for a minute. So, we're, fast forward about, up to about, 11, 12 years ago? 13 years ago, holy shit.
Long time ago.
13 years ago. I'm sitting at my house in Anthony one night watching Ghost Hunters. And I'm just seeing just this really cool shit that they do. And, it was one of the good episodes where they actually caught some cool stuff. If I remember correctly, it was the Lighthouse episode where they caught the chair scooting across the floor.
Oh, in Augustine?
Yeah.
Oh, and the female voice upstairs and all that?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that episode.
So I'm sitting there, and I've got where I live, and then I've got the house that I'm renovating, which affectionately came to be known as the project house. So I'm sitting at my home or at the house where I live, watching, and I thought, I wonder, because admittedly at this point I had some weird things happen at the project house. Things like voices out of nowhere, and tools. I set them down and do something, turn back around, and it's not there, and then I find it a few minutes later across the room. And
you're like, I didn't put you there.
Yeah. The damn door swinging closed, and we're talking about an oversized, heavy door. This was not, like a cheap little, this was not a cheap little lightweight door. We're talking about a solid wood, oversized, like 7.5 foot tall by almost 4 foot wide door. And swinging closed hard enough to be considered a slam on its own. And, crazy shit like that. And so, I thought, I wonder if I could do any of this stuff up there at the project house. So I had an old damn analog cassette recorder. One of those one of those things. It didn't even have the cassette bay cover on it. You slap the damn tape in there, and it's got the big ass button that you to get the damn thing to record. Mm-hmm. And we took it up to the project house, and I've got that running, and I'm snapping pictures with the cheap little digital camera I had at the time. And I'm like, okay, this is fun and all, but I'm not really getting anything. But then I was standing in the kitchen area of the project house, and actually a friend of mine that was with me was standing in there, and we were both in there, but he had his back up to where the stairway landing would be, and he, I just got chills up my spine. And about the time, while he was actually saying that, before it actually had a chance to register, I got chills up my spine as well. He said, "Take a picture behind me." So I snapped a few pictures. Nothing really happened. Yada, yada, yada. We went on for about another 20, 30 minutes. Okay, I'm done. Went home, listened to the tape. And this was the first EVP I ever caught. And it was beyond a Class A, what most people nowadays would call a Class A.
Can you explain what that means?
That is the quality of an EVP, how understandable it is.
Okay.
It was a female voice plainly whispering right at the moment that he told me to take a picture behind him. Immediately after, a female voice said, "Don't take pictures in here."
No, that's creepy.
And it was plainly understandable. Just like what I just said. Don't take pictures in here. Plainly understandable. And I'm like, it was just me and him. There wasn't even a female there. Holy fuck, what did I just catch? And I was hooked.
And you were hooked.
It was all downhill from there. I mean, like 2 months later, I had a website and an online message board, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but I'm gonna do it, and here we go. And ELP was born. At first, it's been known by a few different names, but at first it was Legacy Paranormal, and then we were affiliated with a team out of San Antonio, Texas, Everyday Paranormal. They had a show on Discovery. And one of the requirements for being affiliated with them is that we had to be known by their name. Mm-hmm. So, we were known as Everyday Paranormal Kansas for a while. And then that's actually how me and Brandon Callahan met, because he ran Everyday Paranormal Missouri. And so, and then when that whole thing, bit the bullet and went by the wayside, then we settled back down on, because we had followers and people that knew us by both names, so we just combined them together, and now you have Everyday Legacy Paranormal. So, yeah, the long and short of it, that's what happened.
Wow. That's cool.
Wow, that's been a long time ago.
Seems like forever ago, doesn't it?
It does, but then again, it also doesn't at the same time.
I know, yeah.
What month was that? Because Melanie was born in August, so...
It was...
Were you watching Ghost Hunters holding a little infant?
Okay, so... No, it's been 14 years ago then. Because I started Everyday Legacy Paranormal a year before Melanie was born.
2006?
Yep.
Wow.
All this time I've been telling people wrong. Now I'm a liar.
Well, you're only a liar. Well, you're not a liar because you honestly thought you You were telling.
I'm just giving you shit. I'm just giving myself shit because I'm getting old and demented.
Oh my God! Listen to this crap.
All right, dude. It has been awesome to talk to you tonight.
We can just
Absolutely
talk to you for hours, Jason.
You know, and
know
that's.
what?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I want to come back and I want to talk about history. I
Okay.
want to talk about some historical stuff.
We need to have you come back and actually come here, so you're physically here with us.
When I get the studio ready.
Yes.
Yeah, but I would love to talk about some historical stuff. Mysteries
Absolutely.
of the, some mystery history type stuff.
All right. Yeah.
You know the one before we get off of here, the one that always throws me off is when you guys had your podcast episode and it was talking about, I don't remember what the episode itself was about, but the one was the video of the girl that like drowned in the she was like on the roof or something, like a
in
Asian
that
girl
water,
or something.
that water tank or water tower.
Oh yeah.
That was out in California.
Yeah, California.
That caught my my
hotel that's
attention.
known for it's a hotel known for suicide.
Yeah. But they're not entirely convinced that her death was a suicide.
It's so weird though.
Yeah, the
It is.
video
Weird.
footage was weird.
Weird that the alarm did not go off when it's set to go off if anybody was to tamper with the rooftop.
Right.
But that's a whole nother story.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
have to save that for next time we have you on. Yes, you got to come back on. You and Corey both could come on because I'm sure she's got some stories too.
But we need to talk about some Old West stuff.
Oh yeah. Cool. I'm all
talking
for that.
Jesse James and Billy the Kid.
Oh hell yeah.
Oh yeah. Let's bring that on.
All right, cool.
There we go.
We'll set a date for that.
Alrighty.
All right. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much, Jason.
Thank you guys for having me.
You're absolutely
You're
welcome.
welcome
Just
anytime.
thank you for coming on and yeah, let's not make it so long next time. Let's you know what would be fun? We've been talking about doing this forever and a day. We need to get together and do a collaboration. Darkness Live Cryptic Heartland collaboration and do the whole drunk paranormal thing that we've been talking about.
Oh yeah. You just gotta tell me the day. Tell me the day.
All right. We'll set that up. We got to get to work on that. That's
Yes. We gotta make it work on a Saturday, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Let's do it.
All right. Thank you so much. And yeah, we're going to let you go so we can jump off of here because our kids are probably wondering where the hell we're at. They're probably thinking that we've been abducted.
Could be.
So.
It wouldn't surprise them. Be like, oh, hey, we have the house to ourselves. Thanks,
all right.
Jason.
Again, thank you. And we'll talk to you later, buddy.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you guys.
You
Thanks.
bet.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, that was awesome.
No, that was good. That was
I have
good.
missed him. I have missed him.
I know you have.
This fucking pandemic, man, is just, pardon my language. I know I've been dropping the F-bomb a lot tonight, but it's just been one of those nights. This damn pandemic has been, it's just throwing so many monkey wrenches into everything, but
Yeah.
you know, we'll get over it, I guess.
Well, I'm over it.
Yeah, I'm over it too.
If we just decide we're over it, does that mean it goes away?
I don't think it really works that way, but
Damn.
you know, be nice.
Yeah, it would. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you guys for watching.
Yes.
Those of you who have never watched this before, you should go to our Facebook page and check it out. Check out
Yep.
the other episodes. We ramble a lot, get a lot sidetracked, and yeah, we.
The Facebook page is Darkness Live Official or Official Darkness Live, one of the two. I can't remember. I'll put it in the video description, and that would be fun. That would make for a fun Dodge City night, Carl. So yeah, and yeah, we also have the YouTube and the Twitch channels.
That Twitch thing was weird.
Yeah, that was just. I think that was probably just some kid jumping on and making
Probably.
a scene. But it is
Caught
what it
my
is.
attention.
That kind of shit's going to happen. So, no big deal. We will. I'll. What am I trying to say? I think it's time to get off of here because I'm starting to show the night shift dementia. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you again next week, same place, same time.
Who's coming on next week?
I don't know for sure yet. I thought I had that one pinned down, but he can't do it next week. So, but I do know in 2 weeks. I do know who we're having on in 2 weeks.
Don't spoil it.
I'm not going to spoil it, so that one's going to be exciting. So you guys will just have to stick around and watch for that.
Yeah, that one's gonna be a lot of fun.
And then, but we'll get next week figured out, and I'll get an announcement put out, and I'll try not to space the announcement like I have been doing, just because, I'm blaming it all on night shift dementia. I'm gonna lose the ability to use that as an excuse one of these days, but
I was like, don't speed that one up. He says night shift dementia because he works night shift, and he'll go like, this man can like function off of like 4 hours of sleep. I can't. I don't know how he does it, but he can. And so, when you go a day and a half with no sleep, and then you come on to do a show, it's like, I don't even know how you function.
I haven't been a day and a half without sleep right now, by the way. I actually got a full night's sleep No, I didn't.
No.
I worked last. Holy fuck, it's happening. It's happening.
Oh my God.
I completely forgot that I worked last night.
That's scary.
Wow.
I hope you got all of your charting done before now.
Yes, I did. I'll explain that one later, but yes, I did.
Oh my God.
Okay, so we're going to jump off of here so I can go to bed, and she can go to bed, and we can go put all the kids to bed, and we got that in ass backwards order, but that's okay. You guys have a great night.
Well,
have
that's
a great
like when
week.
that's like when I said the goat head death moth or whatever.
Right.
Totally fucked up the name.
We will see you same time, same place next week, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And y'all have a wonderful week. Have a great weekend when it gets here.
It's only Monday, honey.
I know. I'm being proactive.
You're being hopeful.
I got the next 7 out of 8 days off, so
Yeah, well, I don't. That's okay though. I don't mind.
I'm not trying to rub it in or anything.
I don't. Hey, you know what? I don't mind. I really do love what I do.
I know you do, and that's a wonderful thing. That's a beautiful thing.
I'll never forget one time he was like, "You have no idea how lucky you are that you love your job." He's like, "You have no idea how lucky you are." So.
I mean, don't get me wrong, because I love my job too. It has probably the job that I'm doing right now is probably the only reason I still have a nursing license, because I like it and I am willing to continue to do it.
It's a really good job.
And it is. It's a wonderful job with a wonderful company. And but I was so done with nursing before that.
It's understandable why, though.
So, yeah, I was just kind of done, and I'm not now, mostly. Can't think of another job that I would do. But anyway, that's all beside the point. Getting off topic, we need to be settling this down. You guys have a wonderful week. Stay tuned for the announcement for our next special guest next week. What is next week? The 22nd.
No, today's the 22nd.
Oh, fuck, it is. 29th. Next week,
I don't know.
Wow, I am super confused.
Take a few deep breaths, get some oxygen going.
That's right. Oh, yeah. Anyway, okay. Come on, back on track, Norwood. Next week is the 29th. See you at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and have a wonderful week. I'll try this again. In the meantime, don't be afraid of the dark.
Yeah.
How was that?
Yeah. Don't be afraid of the dark.
All right, we'll talk to y'all later.
Bye. Have a good night.